clearly been an intentional push.
I'm getting on YouTube.
And Zetzelenko's buddy, the guy that came out with the original protocol, Zelenko protocol, and was the one, by the way, that wrote the letter to Trump advocating for hydroxychloroquine. Okay, kind of important to put that together. He's put together a great little video clip in which he to use that language in that way. But there's clearly been an intentional push. And Zetzelenko is a buddy, the guy that came out with the original protocol, Zelenko protocol, and was the one, by the way, that wrote the letter to Trump advocating for hydroxychloroquine. Okay, kind of important to put that together. He's put together a great little video clip in which he clearly documents the conspiracy between Janet Woodcock and Rick Bryant to make it so that physicians could not administer hydroxychloroquine outside the hospital.
And who was Janet Woodcock and was Rick Bryant?
Rick Bryant was the head of BARDA, the Biomedical Advanced Research Directive, which is the group that produces the J&J vaccine, Operation Warp Speed, etc. So they're the big ticket funder in Health and Human Service of biodefense products.
Who is she?
Janet Woodcock was head of Operation Warp Speed for drugs, and until very recently head of the FDA. She is outside the hospital video clip in which he clearly documents the conspiracy between Janet Woodcock and Rick Bryant to make it so that physicians could not administer hydroxychloroquine outside the hospital.
Oh, come on.
Who was Janet Woodcock and was Rick Bryant?
Rick Bryant was the head of BARDA, the Biomedical Advanced Research Directive, which is the group that produces the J&J vaccine, Operation Warp Speed, etc. So they're the big ticket funder in Health and Human Service of biodefense products.
Who is she?
Janet Woodcock was head of Operation Warp Speed for drugs, and until very recently head of the FDA. She is known as the person who kind of gets the credit, let's say,
Hi,
for
T-Rex.
for her role at the FDA.
I wish Jackson could.
Between the two of them,
Can't you
was
just
there
check
some sort
on
of
my
concerted
tablet?
effort to suppress the use of hydroxychloroquine?
Rick video
Hi, T-Rex.
has explicitly spoken about how they conspire to cook a strategy.
Jack, join screen.
Using emergency use authorization.
Join please.
Make it so that hydroxychloroquine will be administered in the hospital, which otherwise would not hydroxychloroquine.
And why did they do that?
That is what is the unknown, and there's so many whys and hows behind this. I like to say there's a stack of stuff that doesn't make sense about this stuff. Now there is, I can't prove it. I can't get it to make sense.
Nope.
I know Rick Clinton.
Not today, Knob.
I don't know what he's currently working for. He did a whistleblower case, and then all I know.
Jackson.
The reason is that he believed there was no evidence of hydroxychloroquine being used for this virus. Now that's false. Hydroxychloroquine was known to be effective against SARS-CoV.
That wasn't that regular chloroquine?
So hydroxy and chloroquine are closely related molecules. Hydroxy is slightly less toxic. By the way, one of the nice things we actually filed during Zika, I did a lot of drug repurposing. I filed patents on the use of hydroxy.
Hi.
One of the
Wait,
reasons
what?
is because hydroxy is one of the few
Hey, Jackson, I got a question.
antiviral activity for saving pregnancy.
I got a question.
Remember sequence of pregnancy. So hydroxy.
Do you know who Joe is? Joe, Mama.
And the other part
You just got
of the
trolled.
story that kind of doesn't make sense, that there was no data,
I should be.
is that I was the guy that first acquired, because I had Chinese connections, the Chinese protocol for treating this virus. I got it in late February, and I sent it in to my buddies at the CIA and at the ASPR,
Yes.
the Assistant Secretary for Preparedness and Response. government had those documents when Rick Gray made his determinations. So the assertion that there was no data on hydroxychloroquine at the time of this decision.
No, cause no one asked. I'm just
So
joking.
what is the motivation? You're
That's
right.
not a joke.
This does make sense.
I
The only thing
am
this
curious.
is
What?
this is journalism.
Please.
And,
If I don't want these,
classic
listen, I don't like space. He ain't that powerful.
And,
Fine.
So
Fine.
it is bizarre thing. So the assertion that there was no data on hydroxychloroquine
Is your tablet there?
is just painting false. It's there. So
That
what
don't
is the
work in the game.
motivation? You're right. None of this makes sense. The only thing, this is journalist problem. And the classic guidance is follow the money.
Yeet.
And so it is bizarre that Merck would come out with these explicit statements about the safety of ivermectin.
Hello.
Ivermectin and hydroxy are.
But my name ain't Space, by the way. It's Clover. And Clover.
They're one of the safest medicines we know when administered within this.
Zoo, we, Momo.
The ivermectin is even safer.
No. No one likes you.
Merck coming out.
No one likes you, Jet Jaguar. You come at me. Fight me.
It's really explicit.
Do whatever you can.
Now another thing is,
To
I
fight
sit
me.
on the active drugs
Fight me.
as an observer. What is the active? This is the
Come on.
NIH committee that's guiding the clinical trials for
Well,
various purposes.
Fly.
I saw,
I dare you to fly.
heard, witnessed the
Do it.
representative of Merck
What are you waiting for?
was on the committee because the committee is full of
Uh-huh.
representatives, even though it's an NIH committee.
Hello. What is that kid doing?
Explicitly attack the decision for the federal government to test ivermectin. She said there's no reason to do this. Now, what's happened since then is Active Sticks is still testing ivermectin, and they've had to go to a higher dose because, as we pointed out,
I know who to
essentially
be.
their initial trial design was designed to fail. It was a short course with inadequate levels of drug. And so now they've upped it to, I think it's 5 days and 600 micrograms per kg. That's the current dosing in Active Sticks. But there's clearly a concerted effort on the part of multiple players in the pharmaceutical industry in accordance with the federal government to kill ivermectin as a potential alternative to the treatment strategy.
Okay.
And if you're going to follow the money, the problem is there's not a lot of ivermectin because it is a generic drug and any compound pharmacy can make it and it's fairly cheap.
It's fairly cheap because it's easy to make.
I'm trying to tell.
You can get ivermectin at in bulk at less than
Go.
$50.
Look behind you.
So the original SARS is it 90% similar to SARS-CoV-2?
It's that those terms 90 or 96 or 98. Those are really not. They're kind of irrelevant. You can have something that's 99.9% similar, and the difference is all the difference.
But if chloroquine worked on the original SARS or it showed efficacy in the original SARS, is it safe to assume, without adequate tests, that hydroxychloroquine would work on?
It's the decision that was made by the Chinese government. And that's my point. I got the original Chinese protocols. This is what they were using.
And they were using it effectively?
Yeah.
Yeah. So were they using ivermectin as well?
No.
No. But other countries have, like Japan and India and
Uttar Pradesh, as you know,
I
has
knew.
crushed.
Right.
Yeah, to explain what they did to do that.
You're not even hitting
It's
anything.
not clear what are the drugs.
Countries have, like Japan and India and
Uttar Pradesh, as you know, has crushed COVID.
Son.
yeah, to explain what they did to do that because it's kind of fascinating.
It's not clear what are the drugs. So what they did is what we do, and there's some backstory to this. So we
What the
don't
heck?
even go into. But the observation is there was a decision made that the virus was just ripping through Uttar Pradesh. It has almost the same population as the United States. It's huge. Okay, dense, urban, poor, all the characteristics and stereotypes of
I kept it on the TV. Wait, what?
And the decision was made out of desperation in that province to deploy early treatments as packages widely throughout the province. And it included a number of agents. The composition has not been formally disclosed. It was done in coordination with WHO, and whatever was in those packages was rumored to have. I remember.
Am I imagining it? Bob is not real.
Specific visit of Biden.
Jack, if you hear me, Bob is not real.
And the decision was made in Canadian government not to disclose
Bob is not
the
real.
contents of those packages that were
Bob
being
is not
deployed in
real.
Uttar Pradesh.
Bob is not real.
There. And Uttar
Sorry to break
Pradesh
you,
is
but Bob is not
right
real.
now the rest of the world is yelling about Omicron.
What the?
And hospitalizations in South Africa is.
What's BB?
Uttar Pradesh is still
Bob is not real.
So they were visited by someone in the Biden
No, he won't.
I understand there's a meeting between Joe Biden and Modi.
Nah,
and
he
you
ain't
can leave
real.
it out of that meeting.
All
They
I
decided.
know, I don't know what they said.
Hey, Jack, watch this.
All I know
Hey,
is
Tank,
that
what?
afterwards there was a decision not to disclose the contents of what was being deployed.
Yeah, yeet.
It's so crazy to imagine that
Yeet.
in the middle of the pandemic, there's one place, one area of India that's extremely successful in combating the virus, and they're not going to say how they did it. I mean, that's nuts.
I can fly.
So that's
I
where
believe I
I
can fly.
my stance in all of this is to say, here are the facts. Here are the verifiable data. Draw your own conclusion.
Okay.
Sus,
Now,
among.
February of 2020, you catch it. What did you take?
One.
Just say that again. I
No,
will.
there's nothing else to do.
I'm gonna
So this
school.
was so early on in the pandemic. How did you want to be
No, yeah, I will,
hospitalized?
Honcho.
No?
I did develop
Can you?
COVID.
At this moment,
And people I always get,
no matter
why did you take the vaccine?
no matter how
I took
fast
it
you can
fairly
run,
early
no
on.
matter how fast you can run,
Because that's what
then
the National Guard was
you cannot let a soul be taken today.
very rural county. Basically central to
Jack,
Virginia.
I got a
Is
question.
there some evidence that the vaccine actually helps people long COVID?
That was
Okay, what?
That was the rumor.
I'm OP.
That was.
Oh,
I
I'll
took
take
it
that.
for 2 reasons. I had long COVID. It was supposed to help with that, and I knew I was going to have to travel
Yeet.
internationally to France and Portugal.
Boy, Zooey Mama.
No.
We need
Is there
Zooey
any
Mama in the
evidence
chat.
that the vaccine helps against long COVID? Is there anecdotally? Is there anything?
Anecdotally, there was, and I have not
Yay.
seen a peer-reviewed, solid publication
Yay.
or
Zooey Mama. Zooey Joe
that
Mama.
supports that now. But that was the
Get it,
active
Zooey
rumor
Mama?
at the time. And
Perfectly sucks.
for sure, well documented. If you've got prior COVID and natural immunity, you have a higher risk of adverse events with the jab.
What the?
Now, the other part of my story that often gets overlooked. So I took 2 doses of
I
the
see
third.
BG.
With the second dose, I developed
BG.
stage 3 hypertension
Boyfriend, girlfriend.
with systolic blood pressure of
BG.
up to 230. Okay, I'm
That's
lucky
why
to be
you
alive.
see.
You know, what it means is I've had a stress test of my aorta and my cerebral vascular system. I didn't have a stroke and I didn't tear my aorta to shreds.
There's 2
That's a good
words
thing.
in it.
I had irregularities of heartbeat,
BF and 3GF.
hypertension, HOT syndrome, narcolepsy, restless leg syndrome. These are all known side effects that are associated with the vaccine. They're relatively less frequent than the myocarditis.
I'm gonna do this whole entire thing in one day.
But they're all known on the list of adverse
Ow.
events. There's very
They're
clear
not very
people
nice.
that have natural
Rep it. I was,
much higher risk
but
factor
he's stupid.
for this whole
You know what? Yeah, I'm
spectrum
gonna do
of
that.
adverse events. But if they get jabbed,
Even though that's known.
Wait, what?
There's so many people out there telling people
I didn't have
who just
magic.
recovered from COVID.
I have magic.
it is
Yay.
there is a number of things here
Godzilla has reached your point.
are not
Godzilla
supported
has
by
reached
science. We'll say
zone 4.
To be less
Okay,
gentle.
what kind of word is that?
Since we're on the
Oh,
Joe Rogan show, I
wow.
can speak freely. It's nothing but.
My name is.
This is just wrong. It's not consistent.
You're not Huggy Wuggy.
Well, it doesn't make sense.
You'd be bigger than him right now.
What we know about natural immunity is that natural immunity, at least according to that study in Israel, which is like, what, 2.5 billion people, I think?
Well, hello.
They said that it's
Hey,
between
Jack.
6 and 13 times more effective than
Jack.
vaccine.
That is
Jack.
6 or 13 times more effective
Hello?
in preventing hospitalized COVID.
Jack, I'm
It's
asking
more
you a
like
question.
27-fold, yeah, 27-fold better at protecting against developing the disease.
Jack,
Remember,
I got a
infection
question.
does not equal disease.
Right.
Jack.
And that's only one of over
Do
100
you know who
million
Joe is? Joe Mama. Wait, you said what? You see this tank? Yeet. Kicks out of space.
Vaccinologist, I wouldn't expect anything different.
But the CDC recently disputed this.
It was a fascinating play. So the CDC, for most of us that are at all objective to the science world, look at what's going on with the CDC.
Yay.
The CDC is just compromised. What they did with that was a very small study with intrinsic bias all over the place, much smaller
What?
than Israeli studies which you're citing, much less rigorous, less statistical power. And they
What?
pushed that
I don't-
out
you do not make sense.
as their
You.
justification
You are
for
cringe.
their position
You cringe.
concerning natural immunity. But that
Yay.
Who funded that study?
CDC would be the federal government.
So they
Oh,
funded
can you
this study.
prove that one first? Oh, sure.
And
Stupid. Oh, shupika.
the
Apika pikipika. Shupika.
Me to fly intent, and I've had too much time with lawyers.
What?
And I'm not going to do it.
So either way,
Okay, now I break both
many
legs, honestly.
studies that point
I'll
to
break your
the
leg.
fact that
I would if
natural
I had to,
immunity is superior.
but I don't want to.
That's
Having
Hey,
recovered
Hedora.
from COVID, like, over
You
140.
piece of
There are
crap.
also multiple studies that show that
I'm gonna
people
pick you.
who have had COVID who get
Ow.
vaccinated after the
That's not
fact
really
have a
nice.
higher risk. I think it's between
That's
2
not
and
nice.
4-fold, right?
you're on top of
Ow,
2
stop.
and 4-fold
Stop
risk
bullying
of
me.
adverse
Snap a
outcomes.
man.
increased risk.
Yeah, increased
Snap a man.
So for you, you did not know this when you got vaccinated. What was
Ow.
your thoughts? I mean, since this was a technology that you were
Small,
a pivotal
small
part
man
of
with
the
tiny
creation,
voice.
and so you're getting this vaccine, you probably were thinking, look at this, all my hard work come to fruition, it's going to protect me from the virus.
I actually said to the nurse when I took the first jab, I bragged a little bit. I usually don't. I usually keep it on the down low. Don't like to wear my shoulder. But I did say to him, like,
Shoo.
well, that's really cool. Kind of think something.
But she aspirate before she shot
What are you
it?
fighting?
I have
What are
that
you
whole
doing?
aspiration.
Fighting Hedora.
Yeah, I'm sure she did.
The giant what?
Yeah, she's a
That's Hedora. How do you not know that, woman?
Aspiration.
Any
I
skilled
am-
medical practitioner, when I inject my horses,
Okay,
right,
well-
I breathe this ton of
Dude,
horses.
I just said.
I've got 20.
Dude, I just said something.
Okay, I get drugged all the time. I always aspirate.
Dude, I just.
But I saw
Dude, I
the
just said
shot
that's
where
a
Joe
Hedora. How
Biden
they
got
do
it on TV and they didn't aspirate him. They
I
just,
don't know what to say.
I'll tell you what to say.
Stop.
Yeah. So
the way to do it.
Yeah, and was that really a vaccine?
Right.
And we go down that whole
Yeah,
rabbit hole.
that's my favorite rabbit hole.
Yup.
Because the fake set, remember?
Yeah. So there is. Okay. So Joe, you're in
Yes.
Stop saying that, or I will.
What we're experiencing
Or else I'll tell you to
is
leave.
coordinated media warfare, the level of which we have never seen before, and I and my peers who are experienced
And no one else.
have never seen this level
Godzilla
of
furry?
coordinated propaganda.
What are you
Is
looking?
this because there's never
Stop looking at my
been an
furry.
outbreak that coincided
What?
with
Wait, 60?
social media?
I should have known
Really
you would
has to
stare at
be.
that.
And H1N1 was
What
in
a brain
2009
cell I have. I
that
need 4
broke
brain
out.
cells.
I was pretty active.
Give me 4 brain cells, please.
But, okay, that was...
I don't remember the years, but I was on LinkedIn and Twitter a long time.
The thing about
Godzilla
what's
X.
going on now is that there's a
No!
heightened aspect in terms of like the influence on society that social media has.
What is
that
wrong with you?
It's
You are
stronger
crazy.
now than it was 2 years ago.
Yes.
It was stronger 2 years years ago than it was 2 years before.
Did Jackson just leave?
Ramping up exponentially.
No, he just left me.
Affecting society. And then the censorship aspect.
He hates me.
Which is kicked in. And as you said,
that's not a way to treat a friend.
Stepping in line.
That's what you said to me.
Doing it with the pharmaceutical companies, doing it with the government. They're all sort of
you
on
told
the same
me that.
page when it comes to the messaging.
Yeah, so now you're going to the next level of, WTF.
Yeah.
Hi. Hello. Goodbye. Snap a man. I wish I could. I'm gonna do pick art. Okay. Fine by me. I don't care.
We've completed the evacuation of the area likely to be affected. Godzilla is on the move.
But I still watch on TV. Okay. Hey, Mom. Can I have some munchos? Okay. I want to see what you have. We have Doritos in the fridge. I'm on the fridge.
We have Doritos. Yeah, and Munchos too.
What do you mean by potatoes?
Yeah, but
I'm not really hungry right now. Maybe later.
okay.
Time to make a pig's art.
Thanks. What? Since that's New Year's Eve, can we stay up for a while?
Oh, it is New Year's Eve today.
Yeah, until 12. Or even past that. Is it Friday today? Huh?
What?
Is it Friday?
Yeah.
Oh. Yay. Only 2 more days.
Oh, what?
Cool.
Oh, you're getting your message, huh? Just your brother and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
did you edit Blue? Like, make him look like Indoraptor.
No, I just took a sticker of Indoraptor.
And that gave him a mic?
Yeah.
But I still watch. Seriously. Oh, one person's watching. That's me.
I know.
I hope someone else watches.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Take this, Mac.
Godzilla has gone down. Now that Godzilla has defeated his enemy, he should return his attention to the generator. Godzilla is approaching the generator.
One like that button, which color like stuff.
Yeah. Wait, where's Dad? Hmm? Oh.
The generator is losing power. All generators in the area are destroyed. Godzilla. Both areas are potential landing points. areas are potential landing points.
How to open that can of worms. First off, you don't see. You're aware of the Trusted News Initiative.
Yes. Can you explain it to people?
Yes. So, the BBC announced to the world last fall that this organization that they had led the development of, which ties together big tech and big media in service of the government, and was built expressly for the purpose of protecting the democratic voting system, small d, the democracy, and voting integrity from undue influence from hostile offshore players through media information campaigns, which you'll recall was the claim that was made against Russia. And so this was the response of the Western nations to build this new structure called the Trusted News Initiative that would survey all information about elections and prevent the intrusion of foreign information into the democratic process and creation of undue influence by foreign actors. Shortly after it was created, there was an awareness in the pharmaceutical industry that this could be used to address a particular devil challenge that they have, which was the pejorative label anti-vaxxers. That's also been deployed against climate skeptics. Okay, so anti-vaxxers, you'll recall, is the label that is used to basically take anybody out that is raising any concerns about vaccine safety. It's the pejorative that's applied, and it makes it really easy for the media to basically take off the table anybody that's saying something that is contrary to the interests of the vaccine industry.
Right.
So there was a decision that this same toolkit, this same integrated international media and high-tech organization led by the BBC would be pivoted to resisting vaccine misinformation and disinformation. And they put out a proud press announcement last fall that this is what they're going to do. And they defined these things, misinformation and disinformation, as anything which was going to lead to vaccine hesitancy and which was contrary to the official statements of the World Health Organization or the respective national health organizations. So if CDC says the world is flat, then the world
guys,
is
I'm
flat.
gonna go.
And there will be no discussion about whether or not the world is flat. I'm using, obviously, a
I don't know yet.
silly example. So whatever the CDC or Tony Fauci or Tedros, etc., says is true by definition.
Dude.
And any information or discussion which is contrary to that truth will be suppressed. It will be deleted. And those people that are expressing these opinions that would lead to vaccine hesitancy, which to some eyes would be informed consent and decisions by an individual that they believe the risk-benefit ratio doesn't matter, doesn't make sense for them. That information will not be allowed, and those people that are spreading that information will not be allowed to interact in the public sphere in social media. Okay, so that's this kind of, if you want to unpack this whole thing, it starts by understanding the Trusted News Initiative. And we've got great links about that have been put out, explanatory and links. For instance, I put out a Substack recently that talks about the Trusted News Initiative and the censorship, in which I link to both the BBC's Trusted News Initiative website, so you can see what they have to say, and
Zilla power
describes the Trusted News Initiative from my point of view as somebody that's been on the receiving end of the Trusted News Initiative. Now that's the starting point, but it doesn't explain the global coordination, because TNI is mostly Western, and it doesn't cover a lot of the other, Latin America, for instance, or Spain, or Israel. And the only way that I can understand how all of this messaging, censorship, deplatforming, what it really is canceling. And Bobby Kennedy makes the point that the first real example of cancel culture that we can track is Tony Fauci canceling the esteemed virologist Peter Duesberg because he was raising questions about the origin of HIV and its role in the disease called AIDS. I remember when that happened.
I had Duesberg on my podcast a long time ago, and it was the first time I ever got extreme pushback with people that were this is after protease inhibitors had been used, so it didn't even make sense. People were saying you have blood on your hands, people are going to die because of this podcast. I'm like, what are you saying? Like, this is a guy who's a biologist, University of California, Berkeley.
Oh, professor.
Yeah, I mean, a brilliant guy.
Yeah, totally. One of the best virologists of his generation, full stop.
And very controversial opinions, but the only way to find out if someone's controversial opinions are valid is to ask questions, talk to them, let them express themselves. And then I wanted to have someone come on and debate them. I could not find anyone like
This is covered in detail in Bobby Kennedy's book about Tony Fauci. It's one of the great case studies. Now we have a more recent example of this cancel culture as it's played by NIH and by Tony. In the emails that came out recently when you have Cliff Lane, Tony Fauci, and director of the NIH, Francis Collins, basically coming out and saying that they're going to ridicule and destroy fringe epidemiologists. And what was their sin, these fringe epidemiologists? That warranted a concerted effort on the part of the federal government to destroy them. Their sin was raising questions about the effectiveness of vaccine lockdowns. Okay? And who were these fringe epidemiologists, as stated by Francis Collins, who, by the way, has no background in epidemiology from a couple. Okay, he's a sequencing guy. That's his claim to fame, is the Human Genome Project and cystic fibrosis transmembrane protein. He has no background in ecology, no background in vaccinology, no training in public health. But who are these three fringe epidemiologists? Well, they happen to be full professors from universities, Oxford, Harvard, and Stanford. Okay.
They were warning about lockdown.
They were warning about lockdowns in the Great Barrington Declaration. That's what prompted that.
Would you explain the Great Barrington Declaration?
So these three high-profile academic epidemiologists came together and said and did an analysis about everything that was known about lockdowns and their impacts during infectious disease outbreaks. And they came out with a specific statement.
You are among us.
Great Barrington Declaration. And they came out with a specific statement that these lockdowns
baby larva.
to cause more harm.
Nathan, don't jump around. You're always so crazy.
Put out by Tony.
Kyrie wins.
And so Tony
I saw that.
They had to be destroyed. And
Wait,
then
there's
Francis
more
Collins
people.
recently coming on Fox
Badra.
after these emails
That's flipping Badra.
brought out the
Dude, that's Badra.
saying that if we had followed their advice, millions of people would have died. This is the fallback. Anytime you criticize these guys,
You'll see chat
what they say is, oh, you're
Yeah, I know.
They do it to me too.
46.
So if they had
Fighting back,
just
right?
Dude, shoot
done
it again.
what
Do it,
Sweden
boy.
had done and some other countries where they did institute lockdowns and sort of let people just live their lives and make their own choices.
He
They're
OP.
saying that millions of people would die.
Say yeah,
But
So it would be. So it seems.
the only time is left.
It's shown
Circle.
that Sweden
Circle.
actually had a more effective
Lightning breath.
virus. I mean, it was highly criticized.
I'm like King Ghidorah now.
Really concerned that they weren't taking it seriously enough.
Yeah.
And then there was also some concern that it wasn't.
I'm a
You couldn't
watch.
compare. They weren't comparable because the way Sweden
watch it.
is
Yeah.
like small towns. They're separated from each
Wait,
other. It's
do
not
the
a
gun
high
thing.
density situation. like New York
What
or
gun
Los
thing?
Angeles or Chicago.
The R2.
But overall, in time, we see that this
Wait, do that good.
respiratory disease.
Wait, how do you do the gun sound?
Period.
That
No
one?
matter what, it seems to make its way there. No matter
Okay,
where
no
you
more
are.
guns.
And
I
what
need to
it's done
slice.
in that country is
Ow.
it's kind of burned through the population, and their
Like,
mortality rate is
Go
lower than
watch in
most
your room,
places.
okay?
Their infection rate is lower than most places, and it
Do
didn't
it.
do the devastating economic damage and the devastating damage to children that were forced to isolate and not be with their friends and not go to school and not socialize.
So here's an even more fun one.
my turn.
It just cuts right to
Well, you're going to say something?
you know, the pejorative
Ow,
these
ow.
days is the country's name is actually Israel. It's no longer Israel. The Israeli people are very compliant with the government, and the government has a financial deal with Pfizer, obviously, and they only have Pfizer vaccine, and they're now on jab number 4.
Say something.
There's a natural
Wait, what?
dispute that's occurring in
What?
territory of the surrounding states.
No. What?
Those surrounding states
He actually is.
Seriously?
Just kidding.
not have that level of vaccine
Oh my
up to
Geigen!
mortality.
Say nothing. Say
Oh my
two.
god, it's my enemy, kinda.
That's my favorite.
I must fight him, I am sorry. But now I must
Now,
punch him.
is that
Yikes. I didn't say
is it
yeet when I
factored
shoot him.
by age? Is that like
Yeet.
So
what are
I'm Superman.
good question.
I don't know how to do. Do you have to?
This is
Yep.
akin to this mysterious
Dude,
mystery
it's
of
R2,
what's
R
going
circle,
on in Central
lightning.
Africa, where you have
Kick him with
really
tail.
low levels of mortality. And what
Ow.
you're hitting on
Tailman.
Wait, let's do it. You're grounded. You're grounded.
the core of the issue
So you're
is
grounded.
come down to
You're grounded.
and in general, the Israeli population is a little bit more
Among Us.
Why is Geigen's head look like Zeus?
so that's a lower risk.
Oh, you mean with his visor?
Associated with high
So you
rates
look
of
so-
He's spamming.
obesity. And so that variable seems to be, that may be one of the major variables in Africa, is that in that malaria belt, people generally aren't fat.
your battle is right now?
They happen to also be taking ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine.
Dude, it's killing you.
That's all I have.
Ow, 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 ow.
We're saying, well, that must be
Blah.
hydroxy and ivermectin.
I win.
Well, not so.
Okay, James
Point
is.
out, a lot
Type
of
something.
parts-
Type something cringe.
So this is why, I'm glad you didn't ask me, well, why is that, Robert?
What?
Because I would have said, I can't
Okay,
say,
that
because
looks
there's too many
cringe.
confounding variables.
Why do you look
However,
cringe,
it is a
mister?
fascinating observation that we have this
What can I say?
I know, I'm not stupid.
in Israel and in much
Kill
less
space.
vaccinated
What do you think I'm doing?
Big dummy.
look it up on the world. You don't have to believe it.
I must back off.
Your audience
Is he strong or weak?
They can go on Robometer,
Both.
Do you like space or yippee?
Yeah.
mortality,
But I'm gonna kill him.
in these different
Do you, why you being
countries.
Mecha? Or because he was cool?
Because he's cool.
rate of infection comparable?
You should have been Mecha King. He's OP.
Rate of infection
Really?
is
So you're not as
really
OP.
hard
But I'm OP.
because
Do you want to know the most OP? Actually, Destroyer.
Wait, seriously?
And so, this is one of those situations, the more you look for it, the more you find. Which is why you really can't use that as a phenomenon, is the incidence of
You can spam.
How do I get up there?
incidence of infection is totally
Press.
contaminated
Do the gun.
by the frequency of
You mean
testing.
this?
So you have to rely
How much damage is that do?
I don't know.
Really, the only thing
Well,
close
test it.
to a decent outcome indicator that isn't subject to...
Wait, remember the Godzilla meme where Godzilla was like, come here. Then King Ghidorah was like, oi, 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 oi.
Scandinavian states.
Oh yeah, you mean oi, oi,
Should
oi?
we watch that?
Yeah.
Has cleaner data. It's now clear.
All night, we should watch Zilla memes.
Yep, Godzilla memes.
But the only thing that seems close to a reasonable outcome is
What?
This is
because
Yeah, I know. Stop it. Stop it.
never.
You're not Farah. You're not Farah Animation.
What you watch that?
this is
Exactly.
everybody argues.
Boom, 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 boom.
That means nothing.
Wait.
Well, the CDC uses it. It means everything, right?
I want to be Tord.
Hey, watch, I'm vomiting on him. Bleh.
Godzilla and Tord and Tom say an animal, but it's Godzilla in space.
I'm in space. I'll be space.
Well, I like Tord, but wait.
Final stage.
Tord and Tom, I'll be Tord. Oh, I'll take that. Is this mine?
Dude, man.
I'm gonna read Donald. Say well.
Okay.
That guy fails. He's the worst guy.
Argument as well.
Wait, is that?
That's 2014. Go in your room and type something.
No.
Yes.
That's fair. But it's the only variable we have. And it's consistent.
Stop it, spammer. Spammer man. Spammer man. Does whatever, spammer man. Spams my gun.
This explosion.
One again. And now goodbye. Where's Casanova? Where's Casanova? Where's Casanova? I need to see. Hello.
And they tested you with the PCR test. It's non-specific.
Bleh.
You read it up to 42 cycles and said, oh,
Bleh.
there's the virus.
Canova.
Do that.
Bleh.
That results in
Die 2014.
True. But the other side of the coin is that if somebody
You shall be eliminated.
when they have a stroke while they're driving the car and they crash and die, and they've had it within 48 hours and then they the jab, and when those jabs cause blood clotting and strokes,
That's it.
well then it could well be that an auto accident is vaccine related.
Good finish.
Yeah. So all of these kind
Dang
of
it.
things you can't sort out.
Guess this month.
What's
Cartoon cat.
You have to take the aggregate value.
It's Cartoon Kitty.
Sample size. And contract
Easy.
all that stuff, all that noise that's inherent in the system.
Now, you just glossed over the financial
10 minutes.
to report a COVID death. What is that? What is the financial incentive? Because there's all these rumors that you would hear
Nice.
about what a hospital gets paid for COVID death,
Uh,
the government gives them money,
uh,
and that they're incentivized to make something, mark it down. It's not real. What is it?
Now, I don't have the specific numbers at the top of my head. I'm not a hospitalist. I'm not a hospital administrator. But the numbers are quite large. There's something like a $3,000 basically death benefit to a hospital if it can be claimed to be COVID.
Spinel.
There's a financial
Yes.
incentive also.
Oh, Then who is it?
I'll give you a hint. It's a kid.
What is the financial incentive to say that they're COVID
I'll give you a
positive?
hint.
That's
He's
why
a
the
whip.
PCR cycles are ramped up.
Great. You mean,
And you're asking causation. I can tell you that the hospitals receive a bonus from the government.
Oh.
It's like $3,000 if someone is hospitalized and able to be declared COVID positive. They also receive.
I want to do Scooter.
I think the total is.
Oh, but I want to play Scooter Man.
If somebody gets put on the vent, then they get a
Ooh,
bonus.
will you watch me play
Somebody
Fortnite when I do a live
is
stream?
dead with COVID. Okay, so they have an incentive in the front end to declare somebody a COVID case. The CDC made the determination that they were going to make a core assumption if PCR positive and you die, that is death due to COVID. And so